Question 5b. State the reason why calc volume is a function, not a procedure. 1 mark. Would have liked more of you to get this right, but I realised that our wrap came pretty late in the day. The key part of the wrap that involves functions is the line that says, or the lines that say something like, what's my function, where's my value? And that line is there to help you remember the difference between a function and a procedure. Both are subprograms. Both can be called from anywhere in the main program. Both can be called multiple times. Both can run multiple times during a program when they're called. But a function returns a value. That's what a function does. It returns something. A procedure simply runs. Okay, it does what it's asked to do, and then the main program continues. A function returns a value. Okay. Maybe we won't get that question this year. Maybe you won't need that, but I want you to know that, because functions and procedures, subprograms, are slightly more advanced. They are more advanced programming, and therefore they are likely to appear in the computational thinking exam somewhere along the line, and towards starting to get to the harder questions. So I think you need access to those harder questions. So understanding that difference is important. A function returns a value and a procedure doesn't. So the more common answers that I was getting where people were getting it wrong were people saying, just talking generally about a subprogram, so saying that a function can run from anywhere can be called and run multiple times. Yes, it can, but so can a procedure. The other place where people were getting it wrong, where they were saying that a function does a calculation, and that may be due to some crossover with maths, where functions and the word function is used with a calculation. But that's not the answer. The answer is a function returns a value and a procedure doesn't. What does the mark scheme say? Hopefully exactly that. A function returns a value. Without returning a value, it is not a function. A procedure does not return a value. Okay, we can't get any clearer than that. Where's my function? What's my value? No, what's my function? Where's my value? Okay, let's hope you know that. C, state the name of a local variable in the pseudocode. Well, I talked about local and global variables when I went over part A. If you haven't watched that video, maybe you want to do that. But essentially, I can do it here. I've written it down. Local variables are variables that only exist inside a function or procedure. They are not accessible from outside of the function. So here we have one called volume. If we send volume and volume to display, you'd get an error message. Okay, it would not like that. Okay, the global variable, which is a variable that exists outside the function, is known as item volume. Okay, if you remember, we returned volume back to here, and it was stored in item volume. The answer to this question, because there's only one variable inside the function, is volume. So there's only one possible answer. So a local variable is a variable that exists within a function or procedure. So some of you have found that with your programming project, where you have used lots of subprograms, and you want to start accessing variables that are stored in one subprogram. You want to access them in another subprogram, and you can't, because they are local variables. So you either have to pass them around as parameters, or you have to make them global. Okay, but it's not really good practice to have too many global variables, because you can soon lose track of the contents. If global variable can be changed in lots and lots of different functions, it's quite hard to find errors and to trace what the global variable is holding at any one time. So local variables are useful, and then return them back into the global variable. I think there's only one answer to that. It's volume. It can be only volume. It's the only one there. There you go, volume. Okay, so that's your question 5B and C.